I'm filming second video today about my favorite book, this time another one. I yesterday finished The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I absolutely loved it. It's like one of my new favorite book, and today I finished the second one, and it's like also one of my favorite. It's Piranesi, but it's Susanna Clark. This is quite popular book on booktube, TikTok, and so on. So I think you saw it, and I would like to divide this video into parts. First, I want to basically recommend this book with minimal spoilers, with no spoilers. And second one, I want to talk a little bit more about themes. So this book is one of those books when you could not say almost anything, not to spoil it. Especially first time, I would kill if someone would try to spoil it for me before, or even explain what it's about before I have read it. And that also was one of the reasons I wasn't like super excited, because everyone was talking about it's great, it's amazing, but no one was explaining what it's really about, because you really cannot do this without spoiling, because I would not say there are much plot, like there is plot line. However, I would not even say it's character study, because we do not study character, but it feels like study of something. I can't even comprehend, like, there is plot, by the way, it's super interesting. So there is moments of mystery, there are moments of mythology, I guess, like, whatever. You know what it reminds me, there is I think it's Hemingway, who basically argued that he can make the shortest story super interesting, and he made this one sentence story that goes something like that. There was the last man on earth was sitting in his house, and so heard someone knocking on the door. And this is a lot of feeling about this book is similar, because there is this mystery, and it's those moments where like, oh, how it's happened, and usually they even leave open-ended, because it's super easy to damage the whole story by trying to explain it. For example, that short story by itself, it's amazing. It's like chilling, and one sentence about his last man on the earth, but why someone's knocking, like, super interesting. But if you try to explain it, you would probably ruin. I'm not sure that there are some people who would be able to save the story, but usually ruin it by trying to explain, like, this mystery wasn't even so much fun, we just haven't thought about the option, or they try to explain some really fantasy, like ruining the mood. So it actually was one of my worries close to the end of the book, because first one, we are in this mysterious mood. Basically, we have so many questions and no answers, and although like the first, basically the last part, like I say part, but I can't do it. Last part is more plot line, although it continues this study from first, which I would say maybe like philosophical study about a lot of things, because basically just read it. Yeah, it's like quite short, it's just 200 pages. I read it in 2 hours, and absolutely recommend. And now we are moving to discussion, so there would be spoilers. Please, 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 if you haven't read it, stop the video and do not watch it. However, then I would love to discuss it, because it's so great for many different subjects. So, if you have read it, I do not need to explain to you what it's about, and I want to talk about a few moments that I really liked, or which I was like basically the ending. I at first was like a little bit iffy, because it felt like why had he returned? I think it would be a quite great as an ending if he stayed in the house or returned to the house. However, it not happened. Where the author chose still quite appealing and route, bringing the house like the whole idea of this experiment, like what happened is that we lost this basically magic, this connection with the world, and world lost the ability to talk to us, and it want and create a world by itself, the house. And because Piranesi returned, he brings the house with him, and therefore return magic and this connection with nature to us. So I think it was super clever. I also loved that it wasn't like this stereotypical and then he never went back and we start guessing, was it even real? Maybe he really was crazy. However, we see that he's not. Also love that Susanna would haven't gone this like stereotypical path that he was just crazy, that the house is evil and try to basically control him. So there are a lot of allusions, maybe not even allusions. I'm not great at the types of metaphorical and other instruments in literature, but a lot of, I think it's allusions to Greek mythology. There are statues that for some reason I mentioned Greek. Also there is a statue of gorilla and I'm not sure how it would look. But there are also fauns, there are minotaurs, and basically how he thinks is really interesting because I think he really has this view which basically we lost. It's very naturalistic, even those who try to harm him, he still do not want to kill anyone or harm anyone. He is very respectful to the dead, he still cares about them. I think it's one of the issues that I have is like how we perceive things in modern world, that we consider everything that not humans and maybe not our pets are like inanimate objects, so that they have no soul. Although there are people who believe, but it's like majority do not. However, a lot of people speak to their plants and to the thing and to basically there is a lot of symbolism, and not only in the meaning that there are things that represent other things, but also that he, for example, see these birds sitting on different statues, and he can read the message, basically divination. So I think it would also be great for anyone who interested in spirituality, witchcraft community, something like that, because it's really subtle. It's I think it's something that we all need to consider in our life, because it's not even about this book anymore, but there was a moment when we basically started doing science really fast and in bigger quantities. It became mainstream, and we figured out that a lot of things were false. Like, for example, religion told us something and it's not the way it was, or something like that. And so we decided, became skeptics. So you would say divination and everyone will, it's not scientific. However, it's not true. There are not enough studies to prove that it's impossible. Actually, there are for example, if you consider concept of randomness, it's kind of possible, because basically there are even books that explain how certain things are actually have proof in science, in witchcraft. For example, when you take a pill and it's do not actually a sugar, but you feel better. You do feel better. yes, it's connected to a brain, but as soon as we explain the thing, we lose this magic, basically, and we say, it's has nothing to do with spirituality, nothing to do with anything, it just but also like it's fake, but people do feel bad. Yes, like they're not cured, but they feel better, therefore there is an effect. And I think at this old moment, or like essential oils, like a lot of people get it so wrong, like they try to cure cancer and so on, therefore there are a lot of this negative attitude towards this such topics. However, there were only a few studies done, but there are studies showing that people do feel calmer or slightly better. For example, the headaches go and the certain smells. Some of these might be psychological. Something this might have some connection to our chemistry or biology, but it doesn't mean there are no such spirit or something like that. Same is like for me it was such mind-blowing when I was learning about neural networks in computer sciences in more details. And I realized everything that we do, think, dream, actually can be explained just by complex, basically, set of equations. Yes, it's super complicated, but it's we might not need anything like soul or something like that to function. Like our dream, belief, and so on can be explained by this neural network. And like there are a lot of things that are still to be discovered and so on. Or when I first learned, it was so scary because we tend to divide like science explain things and more spiritual. However, there is also a second side where people like it's just a belief. It's my belief. You cannot come about it at all, even if it totally contradicts the world. So I think basically what this book make me think about is to have more holistic view of the world. It does not mean we need to reject the science. However, for example, people are in this book when I forgot how his name, but when the idea of another world is introduced, everyone is skeptical about it. And while I do not think we need to accept it, the guy said it must be true, why? Like, we have no reasons to decline it. Sure, it seems improbable, but it's not impossible. I mix these two words, but it still might be true. We haven't proved that it does not exist. So basically, I think it's a really beautiful book to discuss if you're interested in philosophy, in spirituality, something like that, because there are a lot of themes, allusions, and maybe not even something that comes up in the book itself, but inspire. And the idea to look for science, to look in beauty, and magic, in, for example, statues, how he basically how he finds meaning in what is around him. It's also a really interesting idea. I do not think someone watched it till this moment because I just started the channel and I have like 4 views and people watched just a few minutes. But if someone finds her way here, I'm super appreciate it. And I know I do not have great camera or idea or equipment, and I have something going on with my hair and my English not perfect, but I really want to share my view and opinion on books and other things, and I want to engage in conversations because often, for example, reading book, everyone's like, oh, it's amazing, it's my favorite book, and that's all. Like, I want to talk about like a meaning, for example, why gorilla was one of his favorite statues. What are maybe the meaning? uh, what do you think about the secret knowledge, what it even can be, and what are basically, if someone watches and you'd like to discuss it with me, please reach out. I would be super grateful. Bye.